A very good morning to you, dear students, to your civics class. This is your final civics lesson, chapter 6, Directive Principles of State Policy and Fundamental Duties, part 1. We all know we have a constitution book. Here you can see the constitution book of India, right? This gives us laws of the land. Every state is governed by a set of principles and policies. There are a lot of rules, right? You all know that, students. This is there in the constitution book. Now in chapter 5, you had learnt about various fundamental rights. But we also have fundamental duties. These duties help the Indian citizens become conscious of their responsibilities. Here are the duties: respect for the Indian Constitution and the national flag, defend the country, uphold the sovereignty and integrity, safeguard public property, unity in diversity, protect the environment, strive for excellence, reminiscence the path to freedom, preserve our culture, do your part in the development and educate children. We shall look at all this in this chapter. Firstly, let us recap what we have learned before. We have learned about fundamental rights, right? And now we will also be introduced to the lesson about the fundamental duties and the directive principles of state policy. So watch this video, students, and I want you to name some of the fundamental rights from this video.
The fundamental rights and duties. Fundamental rights. Certain fundamental rights are provided to us by the Constitution of India. Fundamental means something that cannot be taken away from us. Some of our fundamental rights are as follows. Right to equality. All are equal in the eyes of the Constitution. Right to freedom of speech. We all can express our views and ideas. Right against exploitation. Right to follow the religion of choice. People are free to choose any religion and visit any place of worship. Cultural and educational rights. Right to constitutional remedies. Different courts in the country protect our fundamental rights. Fundamental duties. The Indian Constitution also lists down the fundamental duties. Some of the fundamental duties are: we must respect our Constitution and its principles. We all must respect the national flag and the national anthem. All the people of this country must be united and live in peace. We must help the government in our own ways in times of danger. We must treat everyone as equal. We must take care of public property. We must protect our environment. We should not hurt or harm each other. Directive Principles. Some guidelines are also listed by the Constitution. These are called the Directive Principles. The following are assured by the Constitution. People should be provided with all the basic facilities like food, shelter, and medical care. Everyone has a job. The poor should not be exploited in any way. There should be compulsory education for children up to 14 years of age. The Constitution provides these rights and duties for all the people for this country.
Firstly, let us understand the meaning of directive principles of state policy. The Constitution lays down certain directive principles of state policy which, though not justiciable, are fundamental in governance of the country. And it is the duty of the state to apply these principles in making laws. The state shall strive to promote the welfare of people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic and political shall form in all institutions of national life. The state shall direct its policy in such a manner as to secure the right of all men and women for the following. Here are the points. First point, an adequate means of livelihood, equal pay for equal work, and within limits of its economic capacity and development. Second, to make effective provision for securing the right to work. Third, provision for education and to public assistance in the event of unemployment. Fourth, provisions for old age, sickness, and disablement or other cases of undeserved want. Fifth point, the state shall also endeavor to secure to workers a living wage, humane conditions of work, a decent standard of life, and full involvement of workers in management of industries. Now let us understand the meaning of fundamental duties. We completed fundamental rights previously. Now we'll learn about fundamental duties. What are fundamental duties? The fundamental duties are defined as the moral obligations of all citizens to help promote a spirit of patriotism and to uphold the unity of India. These duties set out in Part 4A of the Constitution concern individuals and the nation. Like the Directive Principles, they are not enforceable by courts unless otherwise made unenforceable by parliamentary law. So I already spoke to you about these fundamental duties: respect for the Constitution and national flag, defending the country, uphold the sovereignty and integrity, safeguarding the public property, that means not damage the public property, heritage property like forts, national buildings, unity and diversity, remaining all united, all the cultures, protecting the environment, not cutting down any trees or destroying the environment, striving for excellence, doing your best for the good of the nation, preserving the path to freedom, preserving our culture. There are many cultures in India, many national things are there, beautiful cultures. You should not harm each culture, but you should promote it. All the festivals, right? We have a lot of festivals. You should accept each other's festival, accept each other's cultures. Do your own part in the development. Work for the development of India in your own way. Educate the children. You should learn. All children should be educated. Learn and teach others good things. Now students, we come to the explanation of part 1. In the part 1, you will learn the following: introduction to Directive Principles of State Policy, recap of fundamental rights of previous chapter, why were the directives included, some important directive principles of state policy, what states should do in order to bring about the welfare of the people. I want you to watch this video on the directive principles and pay attention. Okay students, thank you.
Good morning, children. Today we are going to begin with a new chapter in civics, and this is the last chapter in your portion. Chapter number 6, Directive Principles of State Policy and Fundamental Duties. In this chapter, we are going to see that what are the directive principles and how they are important in the Constitution. We have seen fundamental rights, we have seen what are duties in short. But these state policies are flexible, and as per the requirement, certain changes can be made in these policies. So let's begin with the chapter and let's see that which all points we are going to cover in this chapter. In this part of the video, we are going to see why were the directives included in the Constitution and some important directive principles of the state policy. In the last two chapters, that is chapter number 4 and 5, we have studied about fundamental rights that are being given by our Constitution to every citizen of the country. How do we enjoy these rights as a part of our country, that is India? We have also learned that these rights are being protected by the judicial. That means if any kind of injustice takes place in the society, then judiciary is having full right to fight against that for the rights of the citizen. We have also understood that the importance of fundamental rights in our individual's life as well as in the public's life, or we can say in the society. So with this background, with this knowledge, we shall now understand that what are the directive principles of the state policy and how they are important for being in the constitution as well as in the part of an individual's and the society's life. So let's see. Just reviewing and going through the background that whatever rights we have studied in the previous chapters, fundamental rights put restrictions on the power of the government. That means whatever rights have been mentioned in the constitution that are need to be followed by the government. No changes can be made in such rights. A few such restrictions upon the state are listed below. State cannot discriminate between or among citizens on the basis of caste, religion, gender, language, and so on. Even state cannot deny anybody's equality before the law. That if you are belonging to a particular religion, your rules and regulations are different from other religion. And it is not so. Equal protection is given in front of the law for all the religions, even for gender. No any kind of indiscrimination is being followed in the state. No person shall be deprived of his life. That means anybody's life cannot be taken into granted. That you belong to a religion, so you need to follow, and if you are not following, you are going to be punished. No, it's not that. If you have done any kind of crime, then law punishes that person. That means everybody is equal in front of the law, in front of the judicial. And state shall not impose any kind of religious taxes. It is not like that state is going to produce or is going to impose any kind of religious taxes. That means if you are belonging to a particular religion and you are going to your religious place or pilgrimage, that means you need to pay certain taxes. It's not like that. Everyone is equal in front of the state, in front of the constitution. The constitution has given instructions to the state about what all policies are being mentioned in the preamble as well as how it need to be undertaken. The nature of these directive principles and the guidelines about how to achieve these goals are expressed in the preamble. If you go through the preamble, we have studied about the beginning lines. And further, if you study, you will get an idea that what all directive principles are mentioned in the constitution and especially in the preamble. Hence, they are called as the directive principles of state policy. Now, we know that these directive principles are mentioned in the constitution. But what are they? We have studied about fundamental rights. We know that there are 6 fundamental rights, the basic fundamental rights that are mentioned in the constitution, and it should be obeyed by every citizen of the country, India. So, what are these directives and how they are implemented or how they are included in the constitution? So that we are going to see now. Why were the directives included in the constitution? We all are aware that we got independence, India got independence, and we had won this independence in the year 1947. Before that, India was under the control of British powers and we were being ruled by them. Their policies were being implemented in the country. But after getting independence, everything had changed. We faced a great challenge of establishing order and carrying out smooth administration. That means we need to now be aware that how we are going to establish our changes in the society. And these all took a great task. And it was very difficult to establish these things. First of all, we need to remove poverty. That was a major thing. Then, whatever backwardness was there in the society, the discrimination was there in the society between rich and poor, superior and inferior, gender inequality, and especially illiteracy. Education was not given importance at that time. So these all things need to be improved. Once these things are going to get improved, then only our country is going to get the dream of freedom. So slowly and gradually, Constitution started working on that. The task of the nation building had to be undertaken, and for this, new policies need to be implemented. See, policies have been implemented, they have been planned out, accordingly, they have been worked out. That means implementation is taking place. But these implementations are how much working, that also need to be taken into consideration. And that was the work of the Constitution, to see whatever policies they are implementing, that are being followed by the state or by the citizen of the country or not. So for this, new policies had to be drawn up and their implementation had to be undertaken. The main aim was to find people's welfare, and that need to be achieved. That was a target, that was a goal that was set up by the Indian Constitution, by the government. In short, India had to be transformed into a developed and progressive nation. This was been only possible by implementing certain policies and bringing equality in the society, because from past 200 years we were being ruled and harassed by the British powers. So to make a country into a smooth running and following a proper administrative policies was very important. So the constitution has specified the subjects to which the union and the state government should give priority in their policies for people's welfare, and this was through the directive principles of the state policy. That means, in the previous chapter, if you remember, chapter number 3, features of the constitution, in that we have seen that how union government, how state government works under different categories, and accordingly some categories are such wherein both work together and both need to go hand in hand. In the same way, here the constitution has mentioned few policies that should be undertaken by union government and few by the state government. And each directive contains a subject for the state policy, that means for the betterment of the society. The makers of the Indian Constitution had realized that it would be very difficult for the state to implement these directive policies. So, what they would do, they would require a huge resources, a huge amount of funds to implement such policies at the same time. Which policies they had decided previously? The first were poverty, that means eradication of poverty, then backwardness should be removed and illiteracy should be removed from the society. Education should be given to everyone, each and every section of the society. So these all policies, if they are having plan for that and implementation should be done, it would require a huge amount of fund. So that was the reason why they did not make these directive principles policies binding upon the state like the fundamental rights. A flexibility was there to follow these policies. As per the requirement, these policies were being followed. They expected that the state should implement them slowly and gradually. They should not be in a hurry. Whenever finances are being arranged, accordingly a policy could be implemented and could be worked out on that. Some of the important directive policies of the state were: the state should secure adequate means of livelihood to all citizens without any gender discrimination. That means everyone should get equal amount of work so that they can earn their livelihood as per their capabilities. The work allotment should be done so that all the citizens of the country are getting employed, and there should not be any kind of gender discrimination when any kind of work is being provided. We have seen that in these many years how much advancement in technology had took place, and none is the field is like that women are not progressing. So this is because of the policies that have been implemented. Even the state had secured equal pay for equal work for both men and women. That means if both are working equally, both should get equal wages. Even the state secure the improvement of public health. Medical camps have been arranged. Free medical facilities have been provided in the government hospitals. This is only possible when the state had implemented the policies. Even the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. It is very important, being the part of our earth. Even animals are having right to live, and protecting the environment, the nature, is also important. The state shall protect all historical monuments and national importance. That means people should be promoted, people should be made understand the importance of these historical monuments, as well as its preservation is very important. Whenever it has been required to any kind of maintenance and repair, it should be done. The state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of the people, especially the scheduled caste and the tribes. We all are aware that previously all the religions as well as all the sections of the society was not given equal importance. There was a discrimination based on caste and class. But now the state shall implement such policies where everyone are getting equal education. There is no kind of discrimination in the society based on caste or class, and everyone should get equal education. The state shall offer public assistance to citizens in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness. That means awareness program should be created by the state with regarding these points. That is, if unemployment is there, certain facilities should be provided wherein people can come and find an employment or can search or hunt for a job. Such sites should be prepared nowadays. We can see many sites are there wherein you can upload your resume and find a suitable job as per your capabilities. Then old age, a proper guidance regarding their health, hygiene, medical camps should be arranged. Sickness, medical facilities should be provided. The state shall secure a uniform civil code applicable to the entire country. Uniform means what? Similar. That means Samana Nagrik Samhita. It is a proposal in India to formulate and implement personal laws of citizens which apply on all the citizens equally, regardless of their religion. That means everyone should be treated equally under this code. None can be made any kind of discrimination based on caste, class, or religion. All the religions are treated equally in front of laws, and everyone should get equal rights in front of judicial. Now here is one activity in your textbook on page number 84. You need to try out to find out these answers by yourself. That is a personal response. Now do this. So some of the policies that have been mentioned by the state, the directive policies that have been specified and have been implemented also in order to bring about the welfare of the society of the people. Few issues have been listed below. Some more issues are there and we need to find out the solution which all policies should be implemented for them. So find out the directives that is relevant in these contexts with the help of your teacher. Now here I'll explain you what you have to do is, but you need to do the answers by yourself. For example, foreign policy, it should be the policy of the state to endeavor to secure the promotion of international peace and security. First of all, we should maintain international relation, that is foreign relation, so that import and export of the goods can become easier. Economic policies and countries' policies of economy, finances could be raised properly. And as well as peace and security, whenever we require any kind of help, we can take it. And it helps to maintain the peace in the society. Now the next policy is about girls' education. Hostels, girls' facilities. First of all, education should be given importance and girls should get as required education on the basis of their merits and achievements. Correct? And facilities for higher education should be in their event city wherever they are living. That means in rural areas and in the suburb, in the places where facilities, where hostels are not there, their government should provide the facilities of such so that girls also can get education. Upbringing children in a healthy and happy atmosphere. That means facilities such as playgrounds, gardens should be there, wherein children can find a place to do the activities related to their health, as well as they can play. This way they can develop their mental and physical health. Last one is improvement in agriculture. New agricultural methods, traditionally methods were being used, and nowadays more facilities are being available, but certain farmers are not being aware. So colleges should be made wherein they can get education how they can do a better farming and produce a good amount of yield, or a good amount of crops that can be sold in the market, and they can get a good economic return with that. So facilities regarding agriculture should also be there. So this I have explained my point of view, which I feel that which are the points that have been given and what all facilities could be provided. Now it is your thinking how you feel that you should give facilities, or how you can suggest government regarding these facilities. So you can make your points and you can write it. Either you can complete it in a textbook or you can write it in your notebook. That is your personal wish. Whatever directive policies up till now we have seen of this state, and whatever fundamental rights we have studied up till now in chapter number 4 and 5, these both are the two sides of the same coins. We know that a coin is having head and tail. In the same way, these directive policies and fundamental rights go hand in hand. Due to the fundamental rights, citizens get the most needed liberty, whatever they deserve, wherein directive principles of state policies create and growth and the atmosphere in such a way wherein they can get freedom and they can enjoy as per the requirement. Even though we cannot go to the courts if a directive have not implemented by the government, we can put pressure on the government in various ways to make a policy in order to meet these goals. That means for each and every reason we cannot go to the court and appeal for our justice. So we can put a pressure on the government to find a proper suitable solution for certain policies or for certain things wherein which are not being implemented in the society, and accordingly try to achieve that goals. Till now we have seen that whatever fundamental rights we have seen in the previous chapters, that are also the part of the constitution and that are abide to be followed by the constitution, providing equal justice to everyone in the society. We have seen that what are directive policies that have been implemented by the state and how flexibility is there while implementing these policies. We have also seen that whatever directive policies that are mentioned in the constitution and the state need to follow, and we have seen few examples wherein we need to try out to find out the solution for such policies that are being given. So that is your homework. You can do it in your notebook and try to find out. And we have seen that what directive policies and fundamental rights go hand in hand and how they are being utilizing to work for the society. So here we end up with this part of the video. Thank you for watching the video. We will continue the next part of the chapter, that is fundamental duties, in the next part of the video. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.